Welcome, it's the Close the Deal show. I'm your host, Terrence McCray. Our motto is, the movement to succeed continues. Every week we bring you business information, tips, and insights from entrepreneurs, business professionals, and inspired individuals from Los Angeles as well as Pasadena and beyond. The Close the Deal show also features public announcements, Entrepreneur Week, and small businesses. And if you're looking for strategies to help you in business or educate the public, then you're in the right place. Thank you for joining us today. Our guest today is Dr. Theresa Liu. She has a company called MissionQuest. She's not only here to share how she built this company, but she's here to share not only her tips, her strategies, but overall her perspective and how she wants to share information that can be of service to the community and abroad. Ladies and gentlemen, to the Close the Deal show in Pasadena, welcome Dr. Theresa Liu.
Thank you, Terrence. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you for coming on the show. Could you give my viewers as well as the audience an idea of where you develop your education to become a CEO?
That's such a wonderful question. Well, in terms of my education, I think that there is the academic education and then there is the experience education. In terms of my academic education, I got my bachelor degree from UC Irvine, my PhD in psychology from Southern Illinois University at Carbondale, and in counseling psychology. But I think so much of my education comes from working. And so by the time I founded MissionQuest, I have worked in business, I have worked in higher education, and I have worked in nonprofit. And what I found over and over again throughout the years is that two things. Number one, people were not happy at work oftentimes, that there isn't always the job satisfaction that they hope for. And the other thing is, companies and organizations do great work, but they are not thriving and growing the way they want to. So, so it's really from all those fields that I am bringing what we can to our clients and customers.
Well, I have a two-part question.
Okay.
What is the motto of MissionQuest? Mm-hmm. And when you say your company is bringing new things to other companies, could you identify 3 specific things that your company offers?
Sure. Our motto is forging your greatness. And for us, our success comes from our client's success. And we do 3 major areas of service in organization development. We do services in program evaluation, and the last part is that we also help companies and nonprofits and higher education and hospitals raise money. So those are our 3 major areas of service.
So when you talk about organizational development,
yes,
explain that, because to a lot of people who don't run a company or just watching this show are clueless to what organizational development is.
Okay, so a couple of things that, you know, our team is composed of people who come from all the different disciplines in the business sector, in the higher education, the government agency, and the nonprofit sectors. What we do with our organization development service is that we go into a company and we assess what's going on. What we do is that we use different tools. There is one tool that we use that we are asking, how do you think, what do you think is happening with your company from the subordinates to the managers to the leaders? What we're looking for is that we believe that 2 things that's really important in making a company, I think, successful. Number 1 is communication, and number 2 is respect. And how that gets implemented, you know, is via HR, via producing different kind of products and services. So what we do is we really assess our organization from top to bottom and bottom to top.
Well, it sounds like to me, Anheuser-Busch sure could have used your assistance. Definitely.
Right, and then what we do is then we get results, and then we make recommendations. Of course, throughout all of this, it's a partnership between us and our clients, because what we're talking about is change. And change is always, people are always uncomfortable with change. And so we are with our client every step of the way, helping them grow and change.
So how do you identify a problem within an organization in order to give them the tip that they need so that they can prevent loss of wages?
Okay. Well, one of the, this is oftentimes the exact reasons why people are coming to us. So for example, what we oftentimes find is that it's about a culture that needs to be developed in any organization. Have you developed a culture that people communicate well, people feel respected, people feel like they have the information that they need to do their job well? And based on that, I said one of the biggest problems that we find is that when those things don't happen, there is a really high turnover, and that is a huge financial loss, because it takes a lot of money to recruit, train new staff, and also when you have people who are unhappy, they're less motivated to bring their best to work, and ultimately that's what any kind of organization wants, is productivity, and therefore leading to great products and services for their communities.
Well said. However, I'm curious to know, in your evaluation process, what does it fully entail for companies like yourself, explaining to other companies, after we've evaluated you, these are the solutions that we find that could be profitable, beneficial, but mostly importantly, can enhance their growth.
Right. So some of the recommendations we often make are more training for your staff, and oftentimes the focus on marketing, and sometimes we work with companies, they have great ideas, they have great services, but they are not focusing enough on marketing and sales. So those are things that are really important. And Terrence, if I could share you a fact that in preparing for this show, I was reflecting on the 14 years we've been in business, that 100% of the organizations that we work with us for the entire project, really work with us through the trenches, 100% of them are successful, and their culture change, there's more satisfaction at work, there is more income, there is more revenue, because as a result of everybody just really feeling like they are a big team, then they develop more relationships and therefore a huge increase in revenue.
So in the 14 years, what has your company faced with the most?
Okay. Well, what we're often faced with most is that we are always, 90% of the kind of work that we do is that we are 90% virtually synced. So therefore, a lot of our clients are not just local clients. We have clients statewide. We have worked with clients who are national. We even have an international client. So what we are finding that we need to make a lot of greater and greater effort in is keeping up with technology, because the more we learn about technology, that really strengthens our infrastructure. And so, of course, at the same time, we're able to do what we do is because there's all this technology, and that we could work with somebody in Jordan as much as we could work with somebody in Los Angeles.
Wow. So you're telling me your actual company works with organizations in overseas?
Yes, we do. Yes, we
Okay.
do. Yeah. So for one organization that we worked with last year, they do such great work, and we feel very passionate about their work that they are in Jordan. They work with Syrian refugees. As you know, there has been 9 or 10 years of war in Syria, and so therefore, children who are refugees, they have such huge hearing loss that they can't go to school. And so what they do is they do cochlear assessments and then cochlear devices. So what we do is that because of all the technology, we're able to help them with their strategies, with their organization development, all the way here from Los Angeles.
Wow. You know, what's truly amazing is the fact that when you do work with various companies, your mission and quest is to forge their greatness. You know, that's a very, very unique motto to have. You know, but what I find very interesting is the fact that when these companies come to you, right, do you believe that at times you can't help them?
Well, actually, that is such a good question you're asking, Terrence, because we are very thoughtful in the clients that we select. What we are looking at is a couple different things. We want to see if they're motivated to work with us. Sometimes the organization certainly doesn't have the time or the people power to work with us, and sometimes the motivation is there. And so really you need all of these things. You need to have time, you need to have people, and you need to have motivation. And we do believe that we do everything we can to inspire our clients to the next level. And then actually in our program evaluation services, which we basically help companies look at what is considered success and outcomes, and we help them document that. And that particular service, the organization we work with, we don't bring them up by one level. We often bring up by 3 levels. Last week, actually, I was talking to a former client, and she was telling me that as a result of the survey that we did, which for a lot of people, they're like, well, that's kind of boring. You know, what is survey? But as a result of the survey they created a model, and they were able to serve thousands and thousands of people because it raised they were able to get millions of dollars from different partners to do what they're passionate about. So really raising, scaling up by 3 levels.
Definitely, definitely. That is very important to know. What strikes me the most is, could you give us an example of understanding when you deal with a company, what are 2 particular ways that you make sure their deliverables are guaranteed?
Absolutely. Couple of different things. People often ask, what makes your company so unique? And I said, well, we have a special sauce. Like In-N-Out has a special sauce. We have a special sauce. All special sauce is made out of 2 things. Number 1, our ability to do what I call cultural translation and our strategies, okay? And so, for example, we work with this huge multinational firm, and all of a sudden, they were in a situation that they were working with a researcher from higher education, and they were working with federal governments. And they didn't even know what to do because it impacted their accounting, it impacted their research and development. And so what we did was we went in there and basically explained to them, this is what the federal government means when they email that. They were afraid to even answer emails, and because they were looking at contract and contract compliance. And so after our work with them, they were able to not only feel confident that they were able to deliver everything that they needed to deliver, but they felt like they could go after more and more. And so so that's what we do in terms of that kind of work. And when it comes to fundraising, I just have one phrase to say. $16 million.
$16
million, right. We help a school district be able to raise $16 million on one of our projects. And so we really did make such great efforts that they were able to do that. And you know, that comes in teaching them about how to build relationships, looking at their service and business delivery models. And so really it's the strategies that you don't see, because of course people just think about the money and the amazing services that people could do with that money, but it's all the things that we do behind that makes that happen.
So my question to you is, there are so many different organizations out there, and right. You spoke about there's diversity in right. your organization.
Yes.
Okay.
Right.
Do you have a team of diversity?
Yes, we do. Of course, there are the obvious diversities. We have diversity in terms of ethnicity, in terms of gender, age, and the whole continuum of sexual orientation. But of course, when you look at people who work with us, people think that I intentionally go and select based on those criteria. That's not true. What we're looking for is building teams that will bring outcome to our clients. And so
could you give us an example mm-hmm. of mm-hmm. outcome?
Okay, so an outcome is what is considered successful for that organization. Okay, so if it's about organization development, we are looking at being able to retain staff, oftentimes being able to retain your leadership or changing your leadership. When it comes to program evaluation, is that you think you're doing great services, but what is it that you actually are doing? So for example, I'm thinking of an organization that we work with for 4 years that cared about health access, okay? And so what we did was we helped them design a model that they're able to make more and more connections, you know, and think about different technological ways to like expand their programs and to be able to document all that. So that's considered success for them. And then in terms of leadership development, is giving the top leadership the tools to make decisions for hard questions like, should I spend the money and the time to train this middle manager into a upper level manager? You know, those are very, very hard questions, and we help organizations of, you know, from businesses to government agencies do exactly that. And
has it been a success?
Mm-hmm. Well, we think that it has been really successful in terms of the revenues that they raise, in terms of what they tell us, in terms of, gosh, you know, as a result of working with you, our whole culture has shifted, that people are more open, they're bringing more contact and making more and more things happen.
Now, when you said that, what came to mind for me was clear that a lot of companies like startups, right, yes. they need this type of training yes. in order to stay right. Competitive.
Yes.
But what I'm really curious about is, you know, when you're hired yes. to do a job,
yes.
right, how do you know what specific person that you want to utilize in the team okay. for the job?
In terms of our team?
Correct.
Well, we hire people based on their multiple skills. I mean, we have people who are really expert in each of the service type that we have. So for example, for our organization development services, on our team, we have somebody who is chair in the department of his university, as well as 25 years of experience working as CEO, as executive directors for small and national organizations. So we know when we hand that particular associates to our clients, you are going to get results.
So in other words, they're like Allstate. You're in good hands.
Right. Yes. Yes. And also, you know, and we do one thing we do really well in terms of always broadening our network is that not only do we consult in what we do, we also teach in what we do. So we teach at couple of universities and couple of training partners. So kind of our consulting helps give our students more information. At the same time, we teach to hundreds of students, and students, by students I mean people who are professionals, people who have lots years and years in the field. And so we are always learning from our clients and from our students. And so this back and forth make our teaching more interesting and successful as well, of course, for our clients.
So my question to you is this, you know, if you were standing in a room
yes.
with 1,000 potential clients,
yes.
what would be the 3 things that you would want to leave them with about you and MissionQuest?
Okay. First of all, customized services, okay? Customized services depends on what you need and who your organization is, and we craft something that makes sense for you and your organization. Number 2, I think what you get from us, and people like laugh, a criteria that I have in hiring, 3 things: smart, hardworking, and easy to work with. And people laugh, you know, especially at the 3rd one, okay? And so that's, we on our team are people who are flexible and understand things come up with our clients, and sometimes we have to meet with our clients in terms of their schedule. And so what you get from us is a team that is smart, hardworking, and easy to work with. And the 3rd thing is that we are always available for our clients in terms of their access to us. A lot of times after you sign a contract and then you're on retainer, and when you need something, and you may not always get what you need, but for us, we are available to our clients and always looking at the best practice, looking at the changes in different fields. We are right now, for example, creating an online class on adaptive leadership. And so kind of looking at, people are really concerned with who we are in terms of technology and organizations having to change, and always with what's happening in our country politically, because that impacts organizations. And so for us, you know, as we are creating the curriculum, we're able to create this curriculum because we do this every single day.
That is very, very important to know and to hear. What's also important is the way you express, you know, what you would leave people with, because in actuality, you told them we're really not leaving you. We're just sharing information with you for you to understand we're here. So no matter what time of day or where you're at right now, we're going to be available for you. Not solely just because of the contract, it's because of the relationships you like to build with different organizations.
Right. And so for example, I'm really happy to say, because I just heard this week, one of our clients, we've been around for 14 years, one of our clients that we worked with 10 years ago emailed me this week and said that they're coming back on a project and bring a key partner. And we considered that great success, that 10 years later, that I'm sure that that particular leader meets meet people who could do probably very similar type of services, but why us? I think it's the impression and the outcome and the way we treated him so well that he's coming back to our organization.
Well, how could other companies, as well as educational organizations, learn more about the services that you educate people on?
Okay, well, please come to our website. On our website, we have the most updated education information in terms of the classes that we're teaching. We're always revising it, and oftentimes, if you're talking about a room full of people, a lot of times when we do our initial assessment, we said, we don't think you're quite ready for our consulting services yet, but come to our classes. And so sometimes people are interested in our consulting services, but it's not budget friendly. And so we say, come to our classes and build your organization until you're ready for our consulting services.
Well, Theresa, I wish to thank you not only for just coming on the show, but for educating our viewers, for educating myself, for educating companies around the world, but also for educating local companies right here in Pasadena and abroad, as well as in Los Angeles and in the Bay Area. You know, your testimony today really explains the importance of how organizations need to define, represent, as well as make sure that their employees are equipped with the right tools. And with your team, there's no limit to success.
Thank you, Terrence.
Thank you for coming on today.
Thank you.
Absolutely. One of the things that we find very interesting here on the Close the Deal show is the type of guests we like to have here. So look for more successful professionals, entrepreneurs, and local small businesses here on the Close the Deal show. They will be sharing insight and tips. Before we close this deal,
hey everyone, it's Jen Fontanilla, your money coach, and I'm committed to helping entrepreneurial-minded women take control of their money so they gain clarity, hope, and confidence in order to live out their true passion and purpose. Look, I wanted to be here to tell you I am super excited because next month I will be joining Terrence McRae on the Close the Deal show. It is going to be lots of fun and awesome. We're going to be talking about money mindset, how to get your finances in order, and not only that, but how do you organize that ever-growing paper mess with statements and things like that. We'll even cover some topics that came out in my recently published book, Do Before I Do, which talks about the questions that couples should have and the conversations that you should have in order to avoid fights and breakups and have a blissful financial future. Look, it's going to be super fun. Make sure you stay plugged in and stay connected and be on the lookout for our upcoming episode. We'd love to have you join us. Until next time, thank you so much and take care.
we would love to hear from you. If you have suggestions, questions, or even want to apply to be a guest on the Close the Deal Show, reach us at www.theclosethedealshow.com. Pasadena, the Bay Area, you can definitely find us on local channels. Worldwide, find the Close the Deal Show on YouTube. Just type my name, Terrence McRae, and click my picture. Please subscribe, like, and comment on your favorite episode. Take good care, everyone, and don't forget, find the right connection and close the deal. All right, definitely.
Thank you.
Absolutely, absolutely.